Have you ever caught yourself reacting automatically, like you are stuck in a scene that you have lived 1,000 times over and over and over again? You're stuck in that scene. You say the same things. You feel the same feelings. You feel the same frustration. You shut down. You explode. And then you regret again. Now, here's the truth. You are not broken. Like I've said here many, many times, you're not broken. You're just firing the same pattern over and over and over again. And your mind has practiced the same pattern on repeat. And right now in this session, you are going to learn how to break the pattern. You're going to learn how to break the pattern in real time and really install a new one. My name is Jeff Israel Thiwa, and I work with Destiny Life Coaching to help agents of change become practitioners of coaching excellence. Welcome. Now, in this session, we are going through the same series of From Patterns to Power. And I'm not just going to talk about mindset theory here. No, I'm going to give you the real tools that you can use immediately to intercept your patterns, break your pattern, interrupt your pattern, interrupt those limiting patterns on the spot, and shift your mental wiring towards power, clarity, confidence. Because once you learn how to interrupt a pattern, you gain control over your life. You gain control over how you think. You gain control over how you feel. You gain control over how you react or respond to life. Now, that means you gain control over your results. You gain control over your relationship. You gain control over your income. You gain control over your identity. Now, let's break this down. A pattern is simply a loop of a sequence of a few things. One, trigger. So you're triggered, and then from trigger, thought. From thought, emotion. From emotion, action. From action, results. Now, some of us want to change results. We've not changed the trigger. We've not changed the thought. We've not changed the emotion. And Einstein calls it insanity. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expect different results. You can't change at the level of results. And without really changing trigger, thought, emotion, action, then results. In fact, immediately you change your triggers, you change your thoughts, you change your emotions, automatically action. You take inspired action, and immediately you begin to see new results in your life, in your relationship, in your career, new results in your productivity, in your health and fitness, in your mindset, in your vision. You begin to see new results. But when you expect new results from a different pattern, you're not going to get it. And so you don't need to change yourself. You need to change your patterns. You don't need to change yourself. I meet people tell me, Jeff, I'm tired of myself. I want to change you don't need to change yourself. You just need to change your patterns. And when you change your patterns, you change your identity, you change yourself. But when you tell yourself, oh, I'm going to change myself, it really feels so overwhelming. It feels overwhelming to change yourself. But when you get on the mission to change your patterns, then you are on a mission possible. Now, let me tell you where the challenge is with many people. Now, most of us live in these unconscious loops, and that's why all of us, really all of us who mean well and want to progress in life and are honest with ourselves, we all need a coach. We all need someone that can see our patterns, a third party that is not intoxicated in the patterns, because you can't see the patterns while you're in the patterns. You have to step out. You have to step out. And that's why we need a coach. We don't need a coach because we are less smart. In fact, some of the coaches I've hired, I don't think they are smarter than me. But you just need someone. A coach is someone that mirrors, that shows you the mirror. And you don't need a smart person. You just need someone that has been trained and has been certified as a professional coach. They can guide you and they know how to put the mirror before you. You can see yourself. You can see your patterns. But some of us are looking to see our patterns through the same conscious conditioning. You're not going to see it. You're the one looking. How now? You're not going to see it. How do you look at the picture when you're the one in the picture? Inside the picture, you can't. You don't get it. You don't get it. Okay, so you really must get that gift. Give yourself a gift of having someone that can give you professional feedback so you can see your loops. So where was I? I was talking about how majority of us, really the human population, we are stuck in all these loops, unconscious, underlying unconscious loops. They are unconscious because we can't see them. We play them. And sometimes we think they are the truth. We think this is who I am. And we have those labels and we think this is who I am. Those are just patterns. And so those loops, we carry them. And someone triggers you, you react with your thinking. Okay, you get the same old results. But when you learn how to interrupt, or disrupt your loop, even if it's for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, you intercept, disrupt your loops, you create a new meaning. You create a new opening. You open a new doorway to freedom, my friend. You open a new doorway to freedom. But some of us don't want a break from our loops. The same way you've always reacted in your relationships, in your marriage, the same loops you're playing, the same thing. You react, your heart races, you feel like something is rising to your throat, and the word comes out, and you say things you don't want to say, and the relationship gets to a place you don't want to be. Patterns. You are worshiping a God called patterns. And that's a God that will take you and your life to hell, my friend. You need to step back and see the patterns. The patterns, the same patterns playing in your finances, and by the way, sometimes when you have some patterns in one area of your life, you realize they are playing in another. Like if you're a procrastinator, you are someone that you're always late, like even your dreams, you're late, everything late. You just see it play in all relationships, in everything, because you're the same person. Patterns are just telling you who you are. Patterns are telling you your identity. This is where you're playing from. And you should not expect any different results, because you don't get what you want. You get who you are. That's what you get. Nothing more, nothing less. But the moment you interrupt the loop of patterns, you just learn to interrupt, you're giving yourself a gift. And when you get a coach that can help you interrupt, first of all, be aware. be aware of the patterns. Am I aware of the pattern? That's why I encourage you, if you're a coach, please grab my book, The Shift, because you're going to learn all these processes of how to be aware of the patterns, how to heal those patterns, how to break them, how to reprogram your mind, and how to establish a new empowering vision that is aligned with who you are, the person you are created to be. That person is right here, right now, listening to me, but is wearing glasses that are tinged with patterns over and over again. But right now, you can give yourself the gift. You can enter through the freedom door by just interrupting your pattern. So pay attention. Pay attention. In fact, pause this video, get a notebook and a pen, because we are going to learn something that will change your life forever. So I'm talking about pattern interrupt. You're interrupting a pattern because they are on a loop over and over again. I mean, you can predict someone's future by just looking at their loop. The loop, this is the way they usually behave. I mean, we know people by the way they usually behave because we know their patterns. Some people don't know their patterns. If you didn't know you'd react like this, some of us, we are shocked when some people do some things we never thought they would do because we never really paid attention to these people's patterns. They are playing the same loop over and over and over again. There are people who have patterns that just make them feel bad. You know, there are people who don't struggle to feel bad. There are people who don't struggle with negativity. I'm telling you, the first breath in the morning is a negative one. They enter into a room and darkness begins to develop without saying anything, just the energy. Patterns make identity when you allow them to loop so many times that they become part of who you are. Child of God, you deserve better. You are born for more. You're here for more. And you're wired for more. I just want you to know all that we are talking about, the real true identity, the true patterns that define your true identity already exist within you. They just need to be unlocked. And I'm giving you the key. The key is spelled interrupt. And it's one of the most powerful tools of coaching. If you are a coach and you're listening to me, if you want to be a coach of impact, really you must master interruption. You must master how to interrupt patterns. This is one of, I dare say, the most powerful tool in coaching is pattern interrupt. Because if you're a coach that leaves people the same, then you're not really coaching. You're leaving people in their patterns. You coaching someone 2 sessions, 3 sessions, 5 sessions, and they're still living in their patterns, then you're not coaching them. Okay, there's a difference between conversation that is just, friendly conversation and really coaching. Coaching has an element of change and direction, precision, and direction. Like where are we going from here? Where are we, and why are we here? And how did we get here? So some of the coaching questions, if you're intentional about helping your client, you really must ask to get to the patterns, to the bottom of why they are there. Otherwise, you will begin to just give them icing sugar on a cake that is messed up, rotten, bad. You don't want that testimonial, okay? So now, let's say you notice a pattern. Every time you feel uncertain, you scroll on social media. You just go on getting my phone. You feel uncertain, and then immediately you go on social media. You just go TikTok. Okay, you felt uncertain, and then The pattern is, and you see it's a pattern. Every time you feel uncertain, you go on social media and you're there for hours. You're there for hours. You move from one thing to another. Oh, what are people saying? Oh, you've not dealt with the real issues. It becomes, the pattern becomes an interruption of your progress. It's actually an enemy of progress. Or it could be that every time someone challenges you, you withdraw and shut down. Okay, do you know someone like that? Every time someone challenges you, you just go MIA, missing in action. You are nowhere to be found. You just withdraw and shut down. Some of us, we just freak out. We freeze, actually. You know, someone challenges you, you freeze. Someone just does a comment on your social media, on your YouTube video, freeze. Or your heart is, It's a pattern. It's a pattern. And I tell you this, if you love yourself, then now is the time. See, the Bible says the time for change, the time for change is now. Okay? Now is the time to make a bold move. It's a time to disrupt your pattern. Because I tell you what, these are all rehearsed. These patterns are, your mind has rehearsed them over and 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 over again. Same thing. There's a research done by New York University on patterns of thought, and they realized that in a single day you have about 63,000 thoughts. 63,000. And most of these thoughts are negative. But what shocked me with this research is that 90% of all the thoughts are the same, redundant. They are redundant. They're the same yesterday, today, and forever. You're telling yourself the same story. I'm not good enough. I'm not. Wow. Every day. And this is 90% of all these guys. And these guys were taken from all fields, even coaches, preachers, pastors, leaders, students. We are naturally wired to go towards patterns of fear, patterns of worry, of caution, perfectionism. And this is what was playing over and over again to these people that were, went through the research. And you might be there and you're feeling the same way. You're in a loop of patterns. You think you're bewitched. Like, how come you don't change? Yani, what's up? Like, God, what up? What up, God? Big man, what up? Why am I not changing? Over and over again, you just find yourself looped to the same patterns. Let me tell you, good news is that anything that's being practiced, it can be unpracticed, if there's such a word. Whatever you practiced, you can unpractice. There's nothing you've learned that you cannot unlearn. Remember, you're using the same mind. So if you practiced, you can unpractice. Oh, sorry. If you practiced, you can unpractice. Now, I'm going to give you one tool you can use. And this is the tool of snapping and then shifting. So if you're a mathematician, you can call it snap plus shift. Snap, shift, snap, shift. So literally, this is what you do. You snap your fingers like this, clap your hands, stand up, and say out loud, not anymore, not this time, never again, never. Okay, so you must engage. You see, to interruption doesn't happen in a nice, soft, sweet way. Interruption is for people who are tired of being the same. People interrupt their patterns, because some of these patterns we learned when we were kids, we learned when we were children, and we have played them over and over again. They don't need a committee. You don't need to call a committee. You don't need permission. Man, you're in prison. You're in prison. Now, the prison of patterns. You accepted the patterns. We accepted the chains. We put ourselves there. And change comes when we take responsibility. So snap and then shift. Told you, snap, shift. I want you to type down there on the comment section, snap and shift. Snap and shift. Snap and shift. Snap your fingers, clap your hands, stand up and say, not this time, not this time, not this time, not this time, never again, not this time. Snap and shift. Yes. Yes. It has to be energetic. It has to be emotive. It has to be, otherwise your subconscious mind will not believe you. Like when you say, hey, not this time. I don't want it. I don't want it. You will find yourself depressed by your positive affirmation, or you say, not this time. Never, 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 not this time. You know, when someone means business, you know. When you meet someone and they mean business, ukiona mtu atakuchapa utajua huyu, this one is not joking. This one will beat me up, or you know, when you see, it's the same thing. When you see someone that is ready for change, they are ready. You can tell with their energy. Never, never sick and tired of. They stand up and snap and clap and stand up and say, never again, not this time, never again, not this time, never again, not this time. What have you done? You have just interrupted the pattern, because every time the thought comes, it finds you in the same state, the state of depression, the state of worry, the state of hurry, the state of freezing, the state of never. Now this time you just say never. And you must say with all your energy, with all of the lion inside of you, snap the fingers, those hands, stand up, and say never again. Clap, stand up, never again, never again. I want you to type there. If you've done that, I want you to type there, never, not this time, never, not this time, never, not this time, never, not this time. Type it down there. If you're with me, type it down there as we move towards now more and more challenge. Now, why do we need to do this? Because interrupting your pattern, interrupting patterns has to do with interrupting the body. You interrupt the body, you interrupt the brain. Do you know that? Like your body cannot, the brain cannot work with a different body. I can't say it better. The brain cannot work with a different body. It can only work with the body that is aligned. And so when the body changes, the brain changes. That's a secret. I'm telling you. The brain is listening to your body physiology. So when you say, Never. I mean business. My headphone fell. Like you can tell. Never again. Oh, the brain goes like, oh, gee, this guy is born again. This guy, this is not the same Jeff. I know this. This guy, ooh, who is this? And then after some time, the brain forms what we call neural pathway that is aligned with the new physiology. Never, not this time. Never, never again, not this time. So when the thoughts come, what do you do? Never again, not this time, not this time. So don't sit there and tell you, I've always felt like I'm even sweating. My friend, never, never again, not this time. That's pattern interrupt for you. When you allow it, you always talk the same way. You're talking the same way. You're holding the body the same way. You're breathing the same way. Oh, the patterns are at home. They will never be interrupted. But you can interrupt by interrupting the body. So interrupt the body. Snap, clap, stand up, say never again. Well done, well done, well done. Now, let's proceed. I'll give you another tool apart from that, and I want you to practice these tools. I want you to make a commitment. Now, tool number two, you can use questions. Now, in coaching, we use questions, and questions interrupt patterns. So when an old pattern comes, you can ask yourself, is this really who I am? Is this really who I am? That's a brilliant pattern interrupt if you ask that question. Is this really who I am? Because you already know, practical psychology, we act the way we are. Is this, look at your money. Is this really who I am? Or sometimes I talk to the universe and I tell universe, if in my genuine true self, I am abundant, I am overflowing with wealth and abundance, show me. Now, when you ask, is this really who I am? I'm telling you, the universe will show you the truth of who you are. You are not your story. Is this who I am? I want you to write that down. Type it. Let's go together on this. The more you engage, the more you transform. The more you engage, the more you transform. I want you to write down there, is this who I am now? In fact, ask that question and add there now. Is this who I am now? Maybe it's who I was yesterday, but it's not who I am now. I'm making a change. Is this who I am now? Another question you can ask yourself is, who do I choose to be in this moment? Now, that is loaded with responsibility. Who do I choose to be in this moment? Now, that tells you are the one in control. Who do I choose to be in this moment? Another beautiful question is, what would the most beautiful, powerful version of me do right now? What would the most beautiful, powerful version of me do right now? You ask that question, you're always guided to interrupt limiting patterns. Now, these questions will really just jolt your subconscious mind out of automation, because our mind is being automated on that loop over and over. The same dance, the same moves. We're making the same moves and expecting our lives to change. No, let's change our dance move. This pattern interrupts, these questions, they will force your brain to consider new options. They will force your brain to think differently. They'll force your brain to choose a new outcome. to come up with new outcomes. Questions are powerful. In fact, if you ask me, how do you define thinking? When someone tells you, I'm thinking, thinking is actually just asking questions. And so the quality of your questions equals the quality of your thought. And someone says, I'm thinking about it, because they are asking questions. So if I tell you, oh, can we meet on Tuesday? Let me think about it. So you're asking questions. Am I available? Am I? Thinking is questions. The quality of your questions determine the quality of your thinking. And so if the questions you're asking are, why me, Lord? Why always me? Why me, Lord? Why me? Why me? That question, there's no way it will lead you to the door of freedom. It will lead you to depression. It will lead you to frustration. It will lead you to feeling so bad, you will think you're in a borrowed planet. I'm telling you, the questions you ask, and that's now the adopted thinking. Look at the questions you're asking yourself. That is how you think. You don't need to do IQ test, by the way. Some of those IQ tests are wrong. Let me tell you a sure way of testing your IQ. Sit down, reflect on the questions you ask yourself most of the time. You tell, if there are questions of, oh, why me? How come I never succeed? How come? That tells you where your IQ, and that's more than IQ, it's actually EQ and IQ together. It's even SQ. It's also spiritual. You're asking questions like, why me? Why me? I mean, who would you suggest? Who would you suggest? It's now time to ask better questions. That's how you get a better life, is to ask better questions. How can I enjoy this and make it count? When you're going through a challenge, well, how can I enjoy this and make it count? Questions determine your destiny, because questions equals your thinking. Questions, the quality of your questions is the quality of your thinking, it's the quality of your life. Now, the other one is move plus a mantra. Okay, so you get your body moving, the physiology again for about 30 seconds. It could be you're walking, you're running, you're shaking your body, you're breathing, but there is a sense of physiology. And while you're moving, you repeat an affirmation like, I lead with calm and clarity. I speak with confidence and power. I choose progress over perfection. I create a life of destiny. I create my life one decision at a time. Repeat over and over again as you move. So make sure you're moving. Now, if you're the kind of person that goes to the gym, don't just go there and sweat. Sometimes that doesn't help you. Sometimes, doesn't help that much. 1 hour in it, what were you doing? You need to accompany that with a script that you're telling yourself, because when energy is added, movement is added to a mantra. Oh my God. You just feel like you're a different person. You've interrupted your pattern. But movement without mantra, you just sweat and go home. Same person. So you need to accompany your movements with a mantra, with an affirmation. All I need is within me now. You feel it. Repeat it till you feel it. Lock it in. Feel it. Bring it to your body. Own it. You're not just thinking different. You are reprogramming your subconscious mind for a new identity. Your nervous system is reborn. Your nervous system is being recreated. Just taking a deep breath. That's one way of breaking a pattern. When you go, you've been talking for long, and take a deep breath. You've broken a pattern. Now, here's the big idea. You don't rise to the level of your dream. No, you fall to the level of your patterns. Let me pause to let that sink in. You never rise to the level of your dreams. No, you fall to the level of your patterns. That's where you're going to land, brother. That's where you're going to land, my sister. That's where you're going to land. The level of your patterns. Now, this is where you raise your standards. There are patterns that you need to adopt, make them non-negotiable. Make, patterns of thought, emotions, patterns that are non-negotiable. And there are patterns that you don't want to negotiate and think with. Once you see it, interrupt, snap it out of your life in Jesus' name. Yes, break the pattern, stand up, shake it off, be a new person. Sometimes the way I deal with people who are depressed is to shake their body, not really in the way maybe you perceive it, but really move. So I recommend things like, can we go back to the gym? Can you have a routine where you exercise, move your body? Like the body is the first space for you to change your patterns. The body. There are other patterns like language, and also mindset, meaning, the focus of what does this mean? There's some people, a bad thing happens and it's over. It's over. That's the pattern. Now that's a weak pattern. You need to raise your standard. Once you raise your standard, you know what is not acceptable for you. This is non-negotiable. No, we don't go there. We don't think like that. We don't roll that way. We don't roll that way. We're different. We're different, man. We don't roll that way. We don't roll that way. And the patterns will knock. I stand at the door and knock. You open the door, I'm coming in to dine with you. Now, which patterns are you opening the door for? Okay. Once you start to break your pattern, once you start to break the old patterns, you realize you're stopping reaction. You stop to react and you become a new person. And from this moment, in fact, I want you to take a deep breath with me. Take a deep breath into your belly. Make sure the belly goes out and hold it. Keep holding slowly out through the mouth. Yeah. Now, every time the old patterns of thought, emotions coming and they kick in, the loop, I want you to pause. Take a deep breath through your nose. Make sure the belly goes out as you breathe in. Take a deep breath and say, this time I choose differently. Yeah, and you can even say that maybe you are surrounded by so many people, you don't want to be as dramatic as I am in this session. This time, I choose differently. And really mean it. You see, emotion is created by your focus. And the meaning, what does it mean? Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath with me. Take a deep breath into your belly. Tell yourself, this time, I choose differently. Ooh. Right there is a moment of choice. Right there. I want you to type down there, hashtag, this is my moment of choice. Type down there. Let me see. I'm coming to see. I'm looking forward to look at your comments. Hashtag, this is my moment of choice. Just taking a deep breath interrupts the pattern. Thank you so much for walking this journey with me. This is what we do every day at Destiny Life Coaching. If you've never experienced Destiny Life Coaching or the Breakthrough Framework, I encourage you. Click on the link below and fill the free consultation session. I'll give you a free experience for 40 minutes at Breakthrough with Jeff. And if this session lit you up, if this session lit something within you, I don't just want you to leave. I want you to, don't let this momentum fade away. Now, by the way, I want you to subscribe. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification so that every time we go live, you are notified. And again, if you're looking for a breakthrough, maybe you've lived in these patterns. In fact, the patterns are so old, some of them, they are the patterns your mother used to play, your father, your uncle. This is look like a tribal thing. It like a generational curse. It's been repeated over and over again. It could be patterns of finances, finances, maybe revealing a pattern, relationships, maybe revealing a pattern, you know, everyone ends up a certain way. They want to get married, never get married. Same story over and over again. Pattern. Book a free consultation session. Let's interrupt that pattern. You don't have to continue like this. No. Especially if you're going towards 40, my friend. You can't continue like that. This is a time to live your life. You're no longer a small baby. You're no longer the small little boy. No, you're over 20. You're grown up now. You can decide your destiny. Don't let patterns decide your destiny. Love you. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.